Welcome back to In Transit, and I am chatting with Canadian filmmaker and journalist Nadia Zawawi. Okay, Nadia. Now we stopped at a point in your journey when you got married and you came to Canada. And were you allowed to pursue higher studies by your husband when your marriage was intact?
Yes, I mean I had to impose myself. Yes, yeah.
But he was unhappy about it.
Yeah, when I was given in marriage, it was my condition is to go to school, and because I really wanted to be a journalist and be able to talk, because I wanted to speak, because I was not allowed to speak as a girl when I was growing up, and I thought it was really important that I become a journalist because I had lots of things to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Could you speak English in Algeria, or you learned it in Canada?
I learned it in Canada.
Right. So then what did you do? What did you study?
I did 6 months of English, because my first language is Berber, which is the native language of North Africa. We studied Arabic in school, and then we did some French and some English. So, and then I went to university in French. I did communications and literature, because at that time they didn't have the degree in journalism. And then after I did like a TV and radio school. So that's how I ended up going to the French CBC.
Right. And your experience with Al Jazeera?
Al Jazeera documentary channel is in Qatar. So I proposed an idea of a film, because I knew that they were looking for filmmakers who are of Arab origins. So I proposed the film and they accepted it. It's a film about, I was telling 24 hours in first Arabic private radio in Montreal. So it's a film about integration, about Arabs coming from 22 different countries trying to get to know each other. So in the film, it's a 45-minute film, but it's really, it was very interesting. So Al Jazeera liked my work, and that's how they kept, accepting my other projects. So I did the Fear, Anger and Politics in 2012. And then just recently, I just finished a series about immigration that's called Immigrant Stories.
Right. Immigration is a very volatile subject the world over now today. So can you tell us something about the film?
Yeah. The stories, the thing is, whenever something goes wrong, I try to look at it. I say, because I think I'm a very positive person. And I look at it in Quebec, we have lots of problems with immigration. It's different from the rest of Canada. And recently, there were some ugly things going on. And, there's the Québécois party surfing on this identity and, so there are some things ugly that came out. And I thought, oh my God, they are not talking, they don't realize how beautiful and how rich it is to be in diversity. What makes me, I think, so open and I know so much is because I'm surrounded with people from all over the world in Canada. I have friends, when we have dinner, I have people, it's like the United Nations. And I don't choose my friends because of their nationality or because of their religion. I choose them because of who they are as human beings.
Right.
And I think that's something you learn when you live in diversity.
Also, Canada prides itself on its diversity.
Yes, exactly. And then, so this series, it's 15 short stories about immigrants who did amazing things. And each story is a trip to a world that we don't know. So, for example, I have this amazing artist from Syria. She's Kurdish, and she's a visual artist. And she does beautiful things about civil war. It's just so touching. I have this Moroccan guy, I call him Muhammad and his prisoners. And he initiated something amazing, where he initiated a radio program from a prison. And Quebec being a province that wants to work on integration of prisoners instead of building more prisons like the rest of Canada or the US. They want to integrate prisoners, so that's part of his work, is to integrate prisoners through a radio program. So each story is amazing. Each story could become an hour film. And unfortunately, well, it's going to be presented in Arabic in the Arabic Al Jazeera. I have an English version and a French version. And I'm trying to see if I could show it in the Québécois TV, because I think it's important. That's where it should be seen.
Right. You're talking about something ugly that's going on in Quebec. Don't you think the barriers are being raised in every country, barriers against immigrants? It's a worldwide phenomenon. So where does Canada stand there today?
I don't think, I think the rest of Canada, I think, doesn't have that problem. I don't sense it. I think Quebec is very different. Quebec is a 2% population in the Sea of North America who are francophones and who are trying to exist as francophones. So they're very afraid to be assimilated. So they try to choose an immigration that's francophone. But in the same time, they have this history where they rejected their religion completely. So they went through this revolution in the 60s that's called La Révolution Tranquille, the quiet revolution, where they just decided who they are and they rejected the clergy because the clergy was very present in every part of their lives. So they have quite a different history. And unfortunately, I mean, the Parti Québécois, that's the national party that wants separation, is trying to be elected. They are in the government now as a minority, but they want to be elected as a majority, and they surf on that for the elections, to be elected. Mm-hmm. But what comes out is that this division, so they worked a lot on this charter of Québécois, La Charte des Valeurs Québécoises, the charter of Québécois values, where you have to be completely secular, for equality of men and women. Yes, everybody agrees with that. But then they want to forbid the religious signs at workplaces. Mm-hmm. So somebody who is a Sikh, somebody who is a Jew and he has his thing, a woman who has a hijab, and often it's women who have hijabs, who work in hospitals, in daycares, in schools. If this law goes through, they might, have to choose between their religious sign or their jobs, which doesn't go really with Canada, what we know of Canada,
They seem to have taken a chapter from French politics.
Yes, they look at what's happening in France, and they are very influenced by France. So
women in France were forbidden to wear the hijab.
Yes, exactly.
At work.
So it's. I think the sad part is what it does to the society.
Yes.
So you have some people from Quebec who would say, "Oh, these immigrants are too religious. We don't want them," or things like that, Mm.
And then it divides people instead of uniting them. It doesn't integrate them into the
society. Exactly.
They're not allowed to integrate. Well, tell me, what has your experience been in India? Is this your first visit?
This is my first visit to India. I went to Bombay for 4 days. I didn't have time to see India, but I meet Indians, and I'm really, really, in French we say agréablement surprise. I'm beautifully surprised by the people, and I find them very open.
What do you feel about Indian women?
I find them very strong. They have beautiful personalities. I spent one day at the Dasra Philanthropy Week with women from all over India, and they are just amazing. And then when they were talking about the problems of women in India, and I was like, what are you talking about? Look at you. I just arrived and I'm amazed by these women. So I think I was very touched by the fact that these associative groups and the NGOs want so much to change things in India that I see them even eventually become even stronger than the government. So like for me, that was a beautiful experience. I didn't have time to visit, but I met lots of people through because I came as a guest with the Canadian Embassy. So my days are scheduled with lots of
Right.
activities, but meeting kids in schools, presenting my film, and how people are touched by my film, and how open-minded they are, and
How they can
nice.
identify with it.
I'm sorry?
How they can identify with it.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Nadia,
Thank
for joining
you.
me in the studio.
Thank you.
And I wish you an interesting journey for the rest of your time
Thank
in
you.
India.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us. We will return with yet another achiever in the next episode. Until then, goodbye.